Mike Dimes, aka Double M OG, from San Antonio, Texas.
Mike Dimes. Maybe you know him from his hit, Backroom.
Talking about a rap nigga, Molly coking weed, she thinks she fucking with a trap nigga.
Or maybe, Home.
This young boy from Texas, so excuse my grammar, big booty, my standards.
If you don't know him, you've come to the right place, as today we'll tell you all about the upcoming rapper from San Antonio. I'll be honest, I had never heard of Mike Dimes until the last couple of months. Backroom stood out to me as the first song and the catchiest song I had heard from him. Not until recently have I begun to fervently listen to the young rapper. Comments on his video include statements such as, "Mike Dimes brings heat on every song." Another one stated, "The most impressive thing is how he is so underrated and not known and still puts this much effort into his music. Never loses motivation. That's what GOATs are made of." Another person said, "I'm calling it right now, this guy is going to be one of the biggest names in hip-hop one day." He has been blowing up most recently in the last couple months, ever since his debut album, In Dimes We Trust, had dropped. So, who is Mike Dimes? Mike Dimes was born in Temple, Texas, into a military family, where he moved across the United States, living in Colorado, Oklahoma, and South Carolina as a child, before settling in his birth state of Texas. Due to the constant movement, he was never able to make any long-lasting friends and began to get used to the detachment lifestyle. However, he stated that he has always been good at talking to people and that making friends was never a problem. He first started playing baseball and then eventually began moving on to play football. When he moved to South Carolina, he hit his growth spurt and became a ranked basketball player in that state. As a result, he originally wanted to pursue a career in basketball, but soon he was encapsulated in writing poetry and utilized the lyrical genius of rappers such as Tupac and Andre 3000. Growing up, Mike Dimes noted that his family had always been financially okay, and he did not get into too much trouble. He has stated that he's trying to break the status quo that every artist nowadays seems to have to be heavily involved in drugs or violence to be successful. He stated that he was inspired by notable rappers such as 50 Cent and Tupac. At 17, he began rapping after finding inspiration from A$AP Rocky's flawless delivery. In my opinion, he reminds me a bit of A$AP Rocky due to his confident and slower-paced delivery. In 2016, he moved to San Antonio and began freestyling, allegedly cutting class to rap. This included freestyle battles in the cafeteria in order to get free food. During his senior year of high school, he experienced small-scale success as his song Trendy reached over 10,000 plays on SoundCloud. Joey Bad, the rapper, famous for songs such as Devastated and Temptation, was one of his biggest influences. His music eventually helped him create My Story, a single in March of 2021.
Niggas be pocket watching, can't say shit cause I'm 20 in the 2020, moving working that Challenger, while your bitch giving brain from the passenger.
Before the release, Dimes had spent months trying to find himself a new sound, one that would utilize his southern style. This song became viral on TikTok and helped the young rapper's career begin to gain traction.
I got more bucks, got more white than a bitch named Madonna. Little nigga, come check my status. Mike ain't never been average. I make it happen.
Apparently, his friend in Florida heard the song and sent it to a social media account titled Occupy Living, which helped promote it on TikTok. In just a few weeks, the song was used in thousands of videos and had over 1 million listens on the app. Interestingly, he has been relying on up-and-coming producers from YouTube to provide him with beats for some of his earlier songs, stating that he listens to around 100 beats a day and then chooses which ones he would like to rap on. In 2021, he released the EP D-Log, also known as Double Lamb OG, which included the song My Story, while he was in college at the University of Texas, San Antonio for business management. He originally was an architecture major, but switched his major when his music began blowing up. He had seriously been considering retiring from his music, but his friends continued to support him and his career, and eventually the patience paid off. He's currently signed to Camp Billy, a collective Mike and his friends in San Antonio started, but he still plans to sign to a major label as long as he still has free reign to make his art as he pleases. He wants Camp Billy to become a big name in the industry, not just for music, but for creative media in general. In January of 2022, Spotify selected him as one of their 10 most necessary artists to watch in 2022. On February 16, 2022, Mike Dimes released the single, Home.
If I'm trying to get proper, I was a schoolboy just trying to get collard greens. Homie outside with Alicia Keys. I made money from mics, they made money from.
This song clearly demonstrated the impressive production and his flawless flows that encapsulate every beat. This hit single currently has over 25 million plays on Spotify and over 1 million views on YouTube.
Check. Straight up, dog. Straight up.
Then, on March 8th, In Dimes We Trust was released. The 12-track record is meant to simulate the feeling of growing up alongside Dimes himself. He says he tries to tell a story in his lyrics as it's the most authentic way to generate a natural flow. He said that he treats his albums like books, with a beginning, middle, and end, like all his projects back in the day. Pitchfork rated his album a 6.8, which in my opinion is pretty low. Dylan Green, the critic from Pitchfork, stated that some of his lyrical subjects, such as boasting about being a better rapper and stunting in general, has limited him in terms of his creativeness. However, in my opinion, he is still a young rapper who hasn't experienced anything outside of a pretty ordinary life. As he continues to develop, I am sure we will begin to see him explore more interesting topics. Green stated that he is much more interesting as a storyteller than a punchline rapper. So we'll see if he will take that route. On a positive note, he said that Dimes moves through beats like oil through water. That is a pretty good compliment in my book. The song Snow White stands out as a different tone in the album, as he tells the story of a girl who got everything she wanted, but eventually turned to drugs.
Thin snow, thick nose, let them lay right with you. Angelic numb pain when you like that switch.
Currently, he is on tour with Earth Gang on their biodegradable 2022 North American trek, as he looks to eventually tour on his own across the country. He has been shown love from rappers such as Waka Flocka and G-Eazy, but he states his ultimate goal is to collaborate with A$AP Rocky. Mike Dimes has a great flow and he does not use a lot of autotune. His lyrics are clear and distinct, and he does a great job of combining the hard-nosed grit of Texas rap with the touch of an artist who is here to stay. He has stated that he's a bit of a perfectionist and said, if I hear something that needs a tweak, I can't drop until I fix that problem. Perhaps an article from DJ Booth said it best. He connects potent poetry with a thunderous tone. He appears to be very humble. He states that he likes to spend most of his time at the studio, as making music is what he really wants to do and does not care too much about the social aspects of life. With his friend group, he enjoys skateboarding and fishing, but isn't a big fan of going out to clubs. One of the most impressive aspects of his delivery is that he's comfortable over any beat and has impressive flow switch-ups throughout songs. My favorite being Religion.
Please don't start acting stupid, we bring a climax to conclusions. I don't do no loose. Please stop talking, ho.
He also states he likes to speak from the heart and doesn't spend time making up stories like some rappers do. Due to his experience throughout the country, he believes he has been able to tell a story from different perspectives. Thanks again for watching and have a good one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment which video you would like to see next. Thank you.
Made a lot of green, really don't mean much to me. I put death over designer shit. I'll buy a fit from Sheen, but this Louis came from Louis. Spent 200 on these jeans. Mama